Welcome to my booktube.
Hey, hi, how are ya? I'm Catlin. Thank you so much for joining my video. Today is just going to be my TBR. I know it's probably going to be a little late in the month once this finally starts to go up, but I just wanted to have a first video, something simple to kind of outline what my April is going to look like. This is because I am joining my first owls. I'm really excited for that, so that's my TBR right there. So I've been thinking about joining booktube for a little while, and I've recently found myself to have a lot more time on my hands. I went from working 3 jobs and planning my wedding a few months ago to only having 1 job and working from home due to the pandemic. I've also found that I've been reading a lot more, which is great, so I figured now is the perfect opportunity to figure out how to film and edit these videos and just have fun with it. I also came across G at Book Roast's Magical Readathon for the first time. I have no idea how on earth I had never heard of this before, what rock I was living under, I don't know. But I'm really excited because I found it on the 31st of March, so that was just enough time for me to decide a career and get started on things. So without further ado, let's get started. Just in case you don't know, the Magical Readathon is hosted by G over at Book Roast. She's put together this event so that we get to participate in doing our owls and our newts as if we're students at Hogwarts. So the owls are the ordinary wizarding levels, and the newts are the nastily exhausting wizarding tests. These are tests that Hogwarts students take in order to advance in a specific career after their time at Hogwarts. Basically, how this works is G has created magical careers for us to choose from. Each class varies in how many books you need to read, and all of the prompts are general enough that this works for any genre that you prefer. So the owls take place in April and the newts are taking place in August. For my career, I wanted to choose something that had about 5 books or more, but also something that was appealing to me. So it came down to trying to choose between a mind medic, which is the wizarding version of psychologist, or the metal charmer career. This one appealed to me because I had just finished reading The Final Empire, which is the first book in the Mistborn trilogy. For those of you who haven't read Mistborn, their magic system is based on ingesting and burning metals, so that's where the inspiration for metal charmer came from, and that's the one that I ended up going with. Both of the careers I think required 7 classes, but the metal charmer one had a bit more flexibility, so that's the one that I went with. So for the metal charmer career, the 7 classes that I needed were Ancient Runes, Arithmancy, Charms, Defense Against the Dark Arts, Transfiguration, and then 2 of my choice, so I chose Care of Magical Creatures and History of Magic. So the first class that I needed to take is Ancient Runes. For this one we needed to have a book with a heart on the cover or in the title, so I chose Heartless by Marissa Meyer. This is a Queen of Hearts origin story and a retelling. I've heard that this story, she starts off pretty innocent and you're rooting for her and her friends, but we all know how it goes, and I've heard that it's hard to watch, but it's a good read, so I'm really excited to get into this one. So the second class is Arithmancy. This class is about the magical properties of the number 2, so opposites, so I needed to choose a book that was outside of my favorite genre. I typically mostly always read fantasy, but this time I picked up Scythe by Neil Shusterman. So this is more of a dystopian. This is set in our world in the future. Humans have conquered death, and the only thing that is of concern is overpopulation. So there's a group of people that go around and kill people, and they're called the Scythe. I've heard this is a great book, and I'm really excited to get into this one. So the third class I needed to take is Charms. We are studying Lumos Maximus, so I needed to pick a book with a white cover. I chose Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This story is about 3 girls whose parents are murdered by a fae. One of them is his daughter, but the other 2, since they were children of his wife who had left him, they are his responsibility, and so he takes them in. The story is told from the perspective of one of the daughters. Her name is Jude, and she is human, and she wants to fit into the world of the fae. From what I've heard about this book is there's a lot of deception. The fae can't lie, but they are deceptive, but she as a human can lie, so I've heard that there's a lot of what's going on, who's telling the truth, and a lot of dark and twistiness in this book, so I'm very excited to see where this one goes. The fourth class for Metal Charmer is Defense Against the Dark Arts, and we're studying Grindylow, so I needed to choose a book that took place at the coast or the sea. This book was gifted to me. A friend of mine got me the Magical Reads crate, and this came in last month, and this one was in that box. That is All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace. I've actually already finished this one. I just finished it a couple days ago. The main character of this book, her name is Amora. She's 18. She is the heir to the throne, and on her 18th birthday she needs to perform her magical abilities using her family's soul magic. and something goes wrong and she ends up having to flee and needs to win back her people's trust. This book actually surpassed my expectations. I had seen a lot of reviews about this where people really didn't like it or they hated half the characters, and so I went into this with really low expectations, but the world is so colorful and the story was really fun, the pace was good. I actually really enjoyed it, so I think I'll probably be reviewing this one soon. So the last required class for Metal Charmer is Transfiguration. This is to choose a book that is about shapeshifting, and I totally copied G over at Book Roast, and I am reading Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Cameron. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. It's also a portal fantasy, so there's a girl in our world who goes through a portal and ends up in this world, and she is supposed to help this boy break his curse. So the second last book on my TBR is one of my chosen classes. This is for Care of Magical Creatures. We're studying hippogriffs, so I needed to choose a book with a beak on the cover. So this is a great opportunity for me to finally read the first book of The Witcher by Andrzej Sapkowski. The first book is a series of short stories. They follow Geralt of Rivia, who is a witcher, which is a monster hunter. I have been meaning to read this for a while. I watched the Netflix series and I really enjoyed it. And I played the third game and I really enjoyed that as well, so I'm happy to be finally reading this book. So the last class was also a class of my choice, and I chose History of Magic. For this one, we needed to read a book about a witch or a wizard, so I am reading Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. This is about a witch and a witch hunter, and they somehow end up married. I heard that there's high stakes, a lot of tension, and that this is a really fun read, so I'm very excited to get into this one as well, because I don't know that much about it, but I've heard really great things. So that's all that I have on my TBR for certain. If I do somehow manage to finish all of these by the end of the month and have some time to spare, I would like to also do the Animagus training. For that one, I would need another 3 classes, another Arithmancy, so another book outside of my favorite genre, as well as Potions, which is a book less than 150 pages, and another Transfiguration, so another shape-shifting story. So I'm not too sure if I'm going to have enough time to get to that, so I didn't put it on my TBR, but if I somehow find myself with enough time, I will definitely be taking those on as well. I'll still need to find some books that'll fit those prompts. But I'm also nervous about shooting myself in the foot for Newts later in August, so we'll see. But if you are participating in OWLs, tell me, what career did you choose? What classes are you taking? What's your favorite so far? In the comments down below. If you're not participating in OWLs, what's on your TBR? Thanks so much for checking in, and see you next video. Bye!